What if I told you that your peace of mind has nothing to do with your job, your bank account, or how others treat you? That most of the pain we feel, the anxiety, the anger, the shame, comes not from life itself, but from how we think about life. Sounds wild, right? But the Stoics knew this over 2,000 years ago. They weren't just sitting around in togas talking theory. They were soldiers, slaves, emperors, people like you and me, facing chaos, loss, betrayal, and still they found peace. Epictetus put it plainly: we suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them. So, if you've ever felt like life's throwing too much at you, like you're stuck in a storm with no shelter, you're not alone. But here's the truth: you can become unshakable. You can learn to meet the chaos with calm, and it all starts with how you see. Stick with me, because in this video, we're diving into 10 Stoic principles that can help you rise above anything and finally reclaim your inner strength. Principle 1. Define your purpose. Picture this: you're out at sea. No map, no compass, just waves, winds, and endless open water. That's exactly what life feels like without a firm purpose. Directionless, reactive, tossed around by every challenge, every opinion, every little change. Epictetus once said, "Difficulties show a person's character, and the greater the difficulty, the more glory in overcoming it." That's not just a nice quote, it's a call to action. Because when you do have a clear purpose, something solid, you stand for it, changes everything. Suddenly, life doesn't feel so overwhelming. You're not just drifting anymore, you're steering. You have a destination, and here's the truth: your purpose won't just fall into your lap. You've got to dig for it. It's crafted in silence, in moments of raw honesty. It comes from asking real questions like, what do I believe in? What kind of person do I want to become? What values am I willing to stand up for, even when it's hard? This isn't just about careers or achievements. It's deeper. It's about the core of you, your principles, your why. And once you find that purpose, it becomes your anchor. When life gets loud, you hold to it. When things fall apart, it keeps you grounded. It won't protect you from hardship, but it will give those hardships meaning. You stop seeing obstacles as threats and start seeing them as stepping stones. So take the time, reflect, write it down, say it out loud, make it real. Because when you walk through life with a firm purpose, everything else starts to align. You won't be perfect, you will be tested, but you'll walk with clarity, with courage, and with a peace the world can't shake. Principle 2. Protect your mind like sacred ground. Your mind is your sanctuary. It's the one place that's truly yours, the space where your thoughts are born, where your identity lives, and where every decision begins. And yet, most people treat their minds like an open door. They let in everything: noise, fear, gossip, comparison. But here's the truth: You become what you let in. So you gotta guard your mind like a fortress. Be intentional with every thought, every influence. Ask yourself, would I invite this thought into my home? Would I trust this person to plant something in my garden? Because your thoughts are exactly that, seeds. And whatever you plant, you will harvest. Let's be honest, the world isn't always kind. There's stress, negativity, toxic media, people who drain your energy. If you're not careful, they take root in your mind and grow into anxiety, self-doubt, anger. That's why Stoicism calls us to be vigilant, not paranoid, but purposeful. Just like you wouldn't let someone dump garbage in your living room, don't let toxic thoughts live rent-free in your head. What you watch, what you scroll through, who you talk to, what you tell yourself when no one's around, it all matters. And it adds up bit by bit into the person you're becoming. So, start small. Read things that challenge and expand you. Surround yourself with people who elevate your thinking. Set mental boundaries the way you'd set emotional ones. Practice mindfulness, not just to relax, but to stay awake to what's happening inside you. Guarding your mind doesn't mean shutting out the world. It means choosing wisely what you let shape your inner world. Because a clear, focused, well-guarded mind, that's the foundation for peace, for strength, for freedom. Principle 3. Master emotions before they master you. Let's be real. Emotions are part of being human. We feel things, we hurt, we get angry, we get scared. That's normal. But here's the thing, letting your emotions drive the car, that's a recipe for chaos. Epictetus put it simply, we are disturbed not by things, but by the views we take of them. It's not what happens to you. It's what you tell yourself about what happens. And that's where your power lies. Think of your mind like a muscle. Every time you pause before reacting, every time you choose reflection over explosion, you're getting stronger. You're building emotional discipline not by suppressing your feelings, but by understanding them, by creating space between what happens and how you respond. Because in that space, that's where freedom lives. Let's say someone cuts you off in traffic. Instantly, your chest tightens. You want to yell, hit the horn, explode, but then you stop. You take a breath. You remind yourself, I don't control what just happened, but I do control what I do next. And just like that, you win a small battle inside. And those small wins, they stack over time. They turn into peace. Stoicism isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming emotionally wise. It's learning to feel anger without being consumed by it, to notice fear but not be ruled by it, to experience sadness and still move forward with strength. So here's your practice. Next time your emotions rise, pause, breathe, observe. Ask yourself, is this helping me live by my values? Is this reaction worth giving my peace away? That one moment of awareness, that split second of choice, that's where your transformation begins. Principle 4. Turn offense into inner growth. Let's talk about offense. We've all felt it, that sting When someone criticizes us, mocks us, or just says something that hits the wrong nerve, it's raw, it's real, and it's so easy to react. But here's the twist. What if offense wasn't an attack, but an invitation? What if, when someone offends you, you've just been handed a mirror, not to shame you, but to show you something? Maybe it reveals an old wound you haven't healed, or a belief you hold too tightly, or even a strength that's been lying dormant, waiting to be tested. See, Stoicism doesn't tell you to ignore offense. It teaches you to transform it. Ask yourself, is this really about me, or is this about them? What part of me is reacting here? Is this a wound, or is this a window? This shift in perspective, it's powerful, because instead of being a victim of someone's words, you become a student of your own mind. You take back control. Sometimes offense reveals truth, something you need to work on. Other times, it's just noise, a reflection of someone else's pain or insecurity. Either way, you win. You either grow or you let go, and both are a victory. Forgiveness is part of this process, not for their sake, but for yours. Holding on to resentment, that's like drinking poison and hoping they suffer. Release it. Free yourself. Remember, being offended is easy, but turning that moment into wisdom, that's the path of a true Stoic. So next time someone offends you, don't let it hijack your peace. Pause, reflect, reframe, and walk away, not bitter, but better. Principle 5. Face fear and shame with courage. Let's be honest. Fear and shame are heavy. They sneak in quietly, then sit on your chest like a weight you can't explain. But here's the truth. Fear and shame are mental ghosts. They feel real. They seem solid, but they only have as much power as you give them. Fear often shows up as what if? What if I fail? What if they judge me? What if I'm not enough? And shame, it whispers, you should have known better. You're not worthy. Don't let anyone see this part of you. But you know what these voices have in common? They grow in silence. They thrive when you avoid them, when you hide from them, when you pretend they're not there. Stoicism teaches us not to run from these emotions, but to turn and face them, to bring them into the light. Ask yourself, what exactly am I afraid of? Where did this shame come from? And is it even mine to carry? Name it. Write it down. Say it out loud. Talk to someone you trust, a friend, a mentor, someone who sees the real you. And then take one small step toward it. That's how you shrink fear. That's how you dissolve shame, not all at once, but piece by piece. Remember, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's walking forward while fear is still in the room, and self-worth. It doesn't come from perfection. It comes from facing your imperfections and choosing to grow anyway. So no fear and shame aren't weaknesses. They're teachers. And when you learn to sit with them, question them, you take away their power. You realize you're not broken. You're becoming. Before we jump into Principle 6, take a moment to do me a small favor. Hit like, subscribe, and share this message. Your simple action can help more people who are struggling with this issue find the content they need. Thank you for being a part of this. Principle 6. Mentally prepare for life's storms. Let's face it, life rarely goes as planned. You can set your goals, write your to-do list, even visualize success down to the tiniest detail. And still, something unexpected can throw it all off. That's where the Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum comes in. Literally, it means the premeditation of evils. But don't let the name fool you. This isn't about being negative. It's about being ready. Because when you mentally rehearse the worst before it happens, you're not surrendering to fear. You're building strength. You're saying, I know things can go wrong. I accept that, and I choose to meet it head on. Think of it like putting on armor before the battle begins. You imagine the possible setbacks, the tough conversations, the technical failure, the delay, the rejection, the loss, and you ask yourself calmly, if this happens, how will I respond? That's not pessimism, that's preparation. Because when the storm finally comes, and it will, you're not caught off guard. You've already been there in your mind. You've seen it, accepted it, and decided who you want to be when it arrives. And you know what that gives you? Power. The power to stay calm when others panic. The power to adapt when the plan changes. The power to keep moving when life says not yet. Anticipating obstacles helps you let go of rigid expectations. It softens your grip on how things should go and strengthens your grip on how you show up. So try it before your next big step. Pause, take a quiet moment. Visualize what could go wrong. Feel it, accept it, and then choose the response that reflects your values, not your fears. That's the Stoic way. Not fearing the storm, but becoming the one who's ready to walk through it. Principle 7. Build quiet, unshakable strength. Strength isn't about how loud you can yell, how hard you can hit, or how fast you can run. Your real strength, it's quieter than that. It's in how calmly you breathe when everything's falling apart. How you keep showing up even when no one's clapping. How you sit with pain not to wallow in it, but to learn from it. That's inner strength. And it's not something you're born with. It's something you build. You build it through your habits, through showing up when you don't feel like it, through practicing mindfulness when your mind wants to race, through choosing discipline over distraction and reflection over reaction. Every time you choose courage over comfort, patience over impulse, wisdom over pride, you're laying another brick in the foundation of your strength. Stoicism never promised life would be easy. It promises you can be ready, not because the world changes, but because you do. Think about it. The most unshakable people, they're not the loudest in the room. They're the ones who've been through fire and learned to walk through it with grace. They've made peace with pain. They've learned to rest, not quit. They've found their power, not in control of the world, but in control of themselves. And the best part, that kind of strength, it's in you too. Right now, even if it feels buried under self-doubt or fatigue or fear, it's there, waiting to be trained, sharpened, and revealed. So build it. Start small, stay consistent. Let every challenge become your training ground. Let every hardship become the weight that strengthens your resolve. Because inner strength isn't loud, it's steady, it's unshakable. And when the world tries to shake you, it's the reason you don't fall. Principle 8. Respond with reason, not impulse. Let's be real. When someone pushes your buttons, your instinct is to snap back. When frustration rises, when stress peaks, when someone says that one thing, you feel it build. That urge to react, to speak, to lash out, to quit, to run. But here's the truth. Just because you feel it doesn't mean you act on it. The Stoics never asked us to suppress our emotions. They taught something much more powerful: restraint. Not to become numb, but to become deliberate. There's strength in that space between stimulus and response. That quiet moment where you pause, you breathe, and you ask yourself, is this reaction aligned with who I want to be? Will this bring clarity or more chaos? That's where your real power lives, not in control over others, but in control over yourself. Anyone can yell, anyone can slam a door, send a cruel message, quit in anger. But it takes strength, real strength, to stay calm when you're provoked. It's not about pretending you don't feel something. It's about choosing not to be ruled by it. Imagine being in an argument and instead of snapping, you listen, or you walk away, or you wait until the emotions settle before responding. That's not weakness, that's wisdom in motion, and it doesn't just protect your peace, it deepens your relationships, your clarity, your integrity. So next time something triggers you, pause, feel the emotion, acknowledge it, then ask, what would the strongest version of me do right now? Because reacting is easy, but responding with intention, with wisdom, with restraint, that's stoic. That's powerful. That's how you go from being reactive to becoming resilient. Principle 9. Accept reality. Reclaim your power. Here's one of the hardest truths to swallow. Resisting reality doesn't change it. It just wears you out. You lose the job, you have the fight, the relationship ends, the plan falls apart, and your first instinct to replay it, argue with it, fight what already is. But here's the thing. Stoicism teaches us that acceptance isn't weakness. It's the starting point of true strength. It's not saying, I'm okay with this. It's saying, this is what's real. Now, what will I do with it? Instead of spinning your wheels in, why me, shift into what now? Acceptance clears the fog. It frees up the energy you were wasting on denial, on blame, on wishing things were different, and it puts that energy back where it belongs, into action. Think about it. If you lose your job, does resisting it help? No. But updating your resume, making calls, learning new skills, that does. If someone hurts you, does obsessing over how they should have acted bring peace? No. But setting new boundaries, learning from it, moving forward, that's where healing starts. Acceptance is not giving up. It's letting go of the illusion of control. It's saying, I may not have chosen this, but I still get to choose how I respond. Let go of what you can't control. How people behave, what's already happened, what the world throws your way, and double down on what you can control: your attitude, your effort, your character. Because the moment you stop fighting reality, you make space to transform it. That's not defeat, that's power, that's freedom. Accept, adapt, advance. Principle 10. Live in harmony with your true nature. Living according to nature, it sounds poetic, but what does it really mean? In Stoicism, it's not about hugging trees or running away to the woods. It's about something much deeper, something far more personal. It's about living in alignment with who you truly are, not who the world tells you to be, not who you think you should be, but who you are at your core. Epictetus believed that human nature is rooted in 4 things: wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. That's your true nature, not stress, not chaos, not constant striving, but clarity, bravery, integrity, balance. So ask yourself, am I living in harmony with my nature? Do my actions reflect the kind of person I know I'm meant to be? When you live this way, something beautiful happens. Life begins to feel less forced. You stop chasing validation. You stop bending into roles that don't fit. You stop measuring your worth by things outside your control. Instead, you simplify. You get clear on what matters. You serve, you contribute to something bigger than yourself. You grow quietly, steadily, deeply. Living according to nature also means accepting the natural flow of life. Seasons change. People change. You change. And that's not a problem. It's a process. Don't resist it. Don't try to control every detail. Instead, trust the rhythm. Be present in it. Flow with it, not aimlessly, but intentionally. And while you're at it, remember that you're not alone. We're social beings. We're meant to connect, to support, to uplift. Living according to nature also means nurturing community, not just your personal peace. So live wisely. Act with courage. Treat others with justice. And master yourself with calm discipline. This is Stoicism, not a rejection of life, but a deep, sacred alignment with it. Simplify, serve, grow. That's what it means to live according to nature. You can't control the world, but you can control your thoughts, your choices, your response. That's the Stoic path, not about escaping life's storms, but learning how to stand still within them. So, don't feel like you need to master everything at once. Start small. Pick one principle. Practice it. Let it shape your day, your mindset, your habits. Because every quiet decision you make to stay calm, to stay true, to rise above, is a step toward becoming the kind of person who cannot be shaken. Remember, Stoicism isn't about being perfect. It's about being present, being purposeful, and staying rooted in what truly matters. So, stay grounded, stay strong, and keep walking your Stoic path. If this video spoke to something inside you, if it helped you feel a little more steady, a little more clear, then consider subscribing. Not because you have to, but because you're on a path, and you shouldn't have to walk it alone. Here on the Stoic path, we're building something simple but powerful, a community of grounded minds, open hearts, and unshakable spirits. So stay close. There's more wisdom ahead, and I'd be honored to walk it with you.